Yeah, Dave, Carolyn, really a rock and a hard place scenario, right? You have these businesses that went through that spring shutdown that lasted longer than anybody had hoped for, now having to make a decision on whether to call the state's bluff. On night one of Michigan's 3-week pause, some businesses choosing to ignore the emergency state health department order, including Plaza Lanes in Plymouth. A handful of people still inside, the doors still open, despite bowling alleys on the no-go list for the next 3 weeks. Wayne County's chief health strategist asked on 7 Up Front about this very issue.
Some are vowing to remain open in order to survive. So does the county health department have a plan for those who refuse to close?
We are certainly working with our businesses. We would love to ensure that we are helping them rather than really targeting them. If there are violations, we do have a compliance department that we unfortunately would be regretfully looking into how do we minimize the exposure and the risk for those that still want to remain open.
Mixed views on WXYZ's Facebook page on if the health department should step in. I do believe the restrictions are necessary. The 3-week pause will end up just like the 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and state health department should leave them alone. The situation similar to the summer when gyms defied orders. They made a decision that owners willing to take the penalties.
You're in business to compete, so you can't compete if you're not open.
People in the area understanding that the decisions for struggling businesses in the pandemic are extremely difficult.
Well, each business has to decide for itself what it wants to do, but I really feel for some of these restaurants that have to close down again. If he can take the appropriate action to keep people separate, you can do that in a bowling alley, keep everybody like 3 lanes apart.
And we have obtained an email from Plaza Lanes to league bowlers. To summarize, they basically say that staying open was a tough decision. They don't expect this state pause to last just 3 weeks. And they also seem to acknowledge potential consequences, writing, quote, any repercussions that are made will be to the bowling alley and not to the bowlers. No word yet on if the health department is investigating. Carolyn?